From the site of the Rost well in Kansas is Nick Tulloch, of course, the CEO of Mendell Helium. Nick, always good to catch up. I think last time we spoke, I have a feeling you were on site as well. Why have you gone back?
Yeah, I come here a lot. Hi, Mark. It was a fairly hastily arranged trip, actually. We've got quite a few different things happening. Behind me are the water tanks, by the way, the Broby disposal well.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a few purposes to be here. I mean, the first is very good news. The Rost well continues to get better and better in terms of its performance, and it's continuing to attract attention.
Okay.
So we're meeting a few counterparties who are interested in helping us work alongside them to advance some of their projects. Also, counterparties are interested in working alongside us to advance our projects, which means more wells in the area. And also, I've got an engineering team on site just looking at how we can actually further improve what we're doing to continue to enhance production.
Well, that's an interesting point. And there was a video, I'm not sure if it's gone out, but I saw it was going around. You were sort of explaining about there's more potential here than, I don't know whether you perhaps first thought or you just think there's more, but I don't know if you can explain that a little bit more. You were talking about sort of the sands, I think, and how deep you were going, and there's potential for more.
Yeah, I did a video last night, actually. I spent yesterday in Wichita, in central Kansas, just with some of the counterparties I mentioned, and we drove over here. But picked up a few supplies along the way, so didn't get here until it's quite dark. So I was standing near the tube trailer, and there's probably a fair amount of gas hissing in the background. I think what I said is there's been, we talk a lot about what we're doing on the surface, and big water tanks behind me. We talk about tube trailers and the PSA. We haven't spoken so much about what happens under the surface. And Rost was a well we inherited. It's perforated only to 1 foot, but we have logs that show there's 46 feet of payable sands. These are the Morrow sands that we access. And so the point I was trying to make is that with just 1 foot of perforations, we're already getting a well that at the moment is producing literally as much gas as we can deal with at the surface. So this is not a clue to say, let's do 46 feet of perforations, we'd flood ourselves and that'd be the end. But it's a clue to say, well, actually, in future wells, if we have a wider diameter, if we have a greater amount of perforations, just think what we could do.
Sure.
We've proved the concept. This very aggressive and very fast dewatering technique works. We're producing gas at surface. I think last time you and I spoke, we were actually venting the gas on site. So what we're learning is that there is scope to do a whole lot more on these sites, and that's why we're attracting interest elsewhere.
And when you talk about the 1 foot of perforation, so that's when you've actually hit the Morrow sands, the section where there is helium. Obviously, the hole is a lot deeper than that, but you're only into a foot of the resource, if you like.
The hole is a lot deeper, but the casing, if you like, has only got holes in it. For a length of 1 foot, where where we believe that the reservoir is. That those are the Morrow sands.
Right. Okay.
So the theory is, and I guess the discussions this week is for future wells, or even maybe at some point a future workover of Rost, is what if you put more perforations?
Sure.
You're going to get more water, but if we know we can deal with the water, and see the water tanks behind me. If we know we can deal with the water, then with more water should come more production. So these are all ongoing discussions, but again, it just emphasises the level of interest we're getting from the local industry, and it's quite gratifying. We're meeting quite big local oil and gas companies who are coming to Little Mendell Helium for advice, and asking what we could do with their wells on a similar basis.
Well, that's really good, and I want to talk about that a little bit because, of course, you raised recently, I think it was about £200,000 there. That was from existing shareholders. There was also a broker option with that, which maybe you can explain a little bit. But clearly, you're getting interest from people locally on the ground as well as people following the story in London, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're just, as I say, we're just over the moon with how it's going, and we had an approach a little while ago from one of our shareholders saying, look, if you want to do a raise, if you want to accelerate things, I'm keen to help. And so we did have a conversation with them last week. We got a couple of other people involved as well. And then we added on the broker option. I always feel very strongly that we need to give our existing investors the opportunity to participate. British sort of regulations around shareholder investments are quite difficult to navigate, and a small shareholder tends to get cut out. So the purpose of the broker option is just to give everyone who's currently a shareholder the opportunity, if they wish, to get involved and to access what we think might be some demand. But the real purpose of the raise was going back to what I said a moment ago, which is we have a lot of opportunity here, and I think it would be remiss of us not to accelerate what we're doing.
Yeah.
When a small company like us starts getting calls from quite big and quite well-known Kansas-based oil and gas companies, it would be crazy if we weren't in a position to consummate those conversations. And
Absolutely.
so I booked a flight late on Tuesday night to come out here this week to have some of these meetings, because if you're not available to have the conversation, these guys will go elsewhere, or worse, they'll do it themselves.
No,
let's access that demand whilst we can.
Act quick, absolutely. Strike while the iron is hot. So is that more blue sky? Is it fair to say that these are early discussions, but it's really a good sign at this point?
Yeah, they're early discussions, but I mean, people are coming quite far and wide to see us. I mean, you won't be able to see it because the water tanks are in the way, but we've got some guys on site at the moment who drove up from Oklahoma to talk to us, and then later on today we've got some people flying in from Texas.
Right.
Yeah, and I mentioned we're also talking to more local companies as well. And these are people who approached us. We've not taken out an advert in the paper saying come and see what we're doing.
Okay.
Word gets around. Again, I mean, you can sort of see the scale of the water tanks behind me. They're very visible from the road, and people are asking what's going on.
Right. Okay.
How's the process going? And of course, people look at our RNS announcements, and this very unusual process, this very sort of almost counterintuitive dewatering process is working, and people want to know more.
Good. Excellent. Well, just a couple of questions, Nick. Just firstly, on that broker option, is that easy for existing shareholders to take advantage of? Do they have to do anything?
Well, so the broker option has been run by Alba Capital. The details are in the announcement, so they should contact Alba first before. Yeah, I know it's not always straightforward, and yes, certainly some of the retail brokers tend to struggle a little bit with that. I was in contact with the shareholder yesterday, so look, if you are struggling, message me. We'll find a solution. Yeah, I don't want anyone to be disenfranchised. If there's if someone get involved, we will find a way to get them involved. Again, no pressure, and this is not a code for saying we desperately need the money. We're actually desperately keen to expand the business, and we've got a real opportunity, and that was the logic of doing the raise. Okay,
good. And just finally then, you're happy, you've said you're happy with how things are going. It's performing sort of as you expected, if not slightly better. The last time we spoke, it was filling up. It was slower because of the bottleneck of the compressor, because of the, I forget the other gas that's there, but there was another gas that is undesirable in this, but you're going to shift that 5%. So how is that loading of that tube trailer going?
Well, it's going well. So it's about 300 yards away, so you won't be able to see it in this video. But well, I'm not sure what to say really. The tube trailer is filling. We have ground storage as well, where we fill that when the tube trailer is off site. Okay. We have some liquids that this might be what you're referring to. The well is producing small amounts of liquid, which, if left unattended, will foul up the PSA. Yep. The liquids just get into places they shouldn't. So we have to take those liquids off, which is kind of, again, a nice problem to have. The liquids have a value. They're fairly easy to store. The same off-taker who's buying our helium buy the liquids. So the well is an increasingly challenging piece of engineering. But I say that positively, and it sort of comes back to what I was talking about a moment ago. If we can make this work, and we have made it work, we're getting interest from other people saying, well, we have this well, it's got a lot of credit, what can you do to help us? Good.
I'm going to have to ask you this. When do you think it will be filled, and when do you think it will be going off?
The tube trailer?
Yes.
Oh, well, the tube trailer fills, it's every sort of 5 or 6 days at the moment with the raw gas.
Oh, so it's ongoing. It's just an ongoing. You've already shipped some.
Yeah, I mean, it's an ongoing process. So, maybe what I'll do so later this morning, I'll just take a couple of photographs and put them on social media of the tube trailer and the ground storage. So the gas goes into the ground storage and then fills the tube trailer. When the tube trailers fill, it's taken away, and the helium is then sold. The ground storage continues to fill. The trailer comes back, and then you start filling it again. So it's an ongoing cycle. We are constantly doing little bits and pieces of work. I mean, we were doing a flow test for one of the engineers earlier. So there's interruptions in the production, but interruptions for a good reason. Whilst we we continue to work on the weld.
Okay, excellent. So that means that yes, product has been shipped, and you'll be getting paid at some point, which is obviously excellent news.
Yes, it's America, so we get paid by check, so it always takes a little bit of time. But we have been sellers of helium for over a year in the Hugoton, and as we announced, I forget when it was, a week or so ago, we're now in commercial production at Rost. But it's the beginning of commercial production. We're selling raw gas straight from the wellhead. Soon it'll be processed gas out of the PSA and much more concentrated, and then still the same process. We still fill the tube trailer, and that's delivered to the off-taker site, but it's a much more valuable cargo when it's 75% helium rather than 5%.
Absolutely. Well, Nick Tulloch, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. It looks you're just as cold as I am, where I am in Zurich for the Swiss Mining Institute, so I'll let you go, and we can hopefully get warm. For now, thank you for your time.
Thanks. My fingers are turned blue, but thanks very much. Good to speak to you.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.